December, my mental health was really, it wasn't in a good state in a way. Like I felt like I was, what's the word? Things were just building up in my mind, like things that were manifesting from years ago. They didn't want me to travel outside of my home because of just the restrictions that were on the underground. Because my why is just helping people to navigate through grief, through this wisdom experiences that I've been through.
Hello guys, and a very warm welcome back to the second episode of Creatives in Lockdown. The aims of these episodes is to ask a variety of questions to a variety of creatives to see how they've coped during the lockdown over the last year. Today I'm joined here with my friend Ben. Hi Ben.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm great. It's been a long week, but
I know, right? It's just crazy. But here we go. Now, before we go ahead, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification bell so you can stay within the creative circle. So let's get into the chase. Freak.
I hope you don't mean that.
Don't think
works all the time.
All right. So the first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your non-creative things that we don't know about you.
All right, so there's a lot. All right, so let's start. So I'm really into fitness. I think fitness is something I've been into for a long time, but originally I was always into sport when I was young. So like when I was 6 years old, I just used to attend AFC Wimbledon football like every Saturday. So usually there'll be like a half term for kids just to come and play for like a week, and then I just used to go for that. I was doing that for like 6, 7 years, and as well as playing tennis as well. So I wasn't really into tennis at first, but I just thought, let me go and try it out with a friend just to see what it's like. And then I ended up not really liking it. So
same, I've tried it, and it's not for me. It really isn't for me. I couldn't get my coordination with it. Just doesn't work.
I know there's a lot of coordination, endurance, and your fitness level needs to be really, really high. Like if you want to take it seriously, you gotta work like really hard and smart as well, because it's a lot of work. But I just knew that it wasn't really for me. Mentally, it was hard, but I think that's one thing I took away from playing those sports. Like it makes you more mentally tough.
Yeah.
And that was something that I took with me throughout my whole life, high school, and even now. And, I'm into reading as well. I read different books on self development, entrepreneurship, faith, morality. Like I've read a book called Deep Work by Carl Newport, and obviously he just talks about how when you it's more to do with productivity, so making how to be more productive, but work less hours. But you want to gain more. You want the work to be high quality. So that's what he was just talking about. Into podcasts as well.
Oh yes, we'll get right off into that later on.
Definitely, yeah. I just like listening to different podcasts because I'm more of a guy that loves having conversations, and obviously that's why we're here, But I just listen to different types of podcasts, whether politics, faith, society, culture, or just those,
different subjects.
Usually. Yeah.
Very varied. I like it. Yeah. And so, what were you doing creatively just before the first lockdown in March last year?
So originally, I wanted to start writing a blog. So obviously, I'm also into writing as well. So I just thought, let me use my own past experiences that I've been through to help other people. And I just ended up with starting a blog on Medium. So this is what my sister suggested for me to use,
Brilliant.
just so, just so that I can start somewhere and write this different topics. And I was really productive during like lockdown. I noticed that I was writing more consistently when I was in lockdown, but I think now uh, things are beginning to open up slowly, and obviously I don't want to lose that momentum that I've started a year ago, and I just need to make more time for it, and yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. Totally understand that. Now, congratulations on the launch of your podcast, Thinking Out Loud. The success.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a huge fan. The show's great. It talks about such a variety of topics, one of which is mental health. Now, has your mental health been affected during this lockdown as a result of what's been going on?
So I think when the first lockdown happened in March, that one it didn't really make any difference because it just felt like, oh, we're in lockdown now, so it just meant that I need to stay home and wait until things begin to slow down. And then it got to July and then December, and I thought, wow, this is really serious now. And
Yeah.
I think December, my mental health was really, it wasn't in a good state in a way. Like I felt like I was what's the word? Things were just building up in my mind, like things that were manifesting from years ago just came out the blue in my mind, and I just was thinking, where did this thought come from? Because I usually don't think about these things, and I I did go to therapy um in May, so obviously I originally booked it before COVID even came, so this was meant to be done in September in 2019, but there was a waiting list, so I had to wait for 6, 7 months for CBT.
Oh my
And
God.
eventually I got it in May, but the only thing was I couldn't go in to the therapy because
restrictions.
because of restrictions. So I had to do it through phone call, and then that was the way things were going to be done for like the until the end of it. And I think therapy it is good. Therapy is good, but it depends because it might not work for everyone. So some people might not like to be vulnerable with a therapist or share how they really feel. And I know it's more common in men that they don't want to open up about things because they're worried that they might get judged or someone might call them weak or that or you're not man enough just because you don't talk about your own emotions, feelings, and I realize it's not good to bottle things up because if you do, it can end up manifesting physically, even though you don't see it. But that's what will happen if you don't. If you're not honest with yourself, then you're not going to be honest with other people. So
right.
That's why it's important. But might work for some, might not everyone, but everyone's different.
That's it. There's lots of different sort of methods to cope with it. Get the right treatment for you. So, as an upcoming blogger, as you mentioned earlier, do you see the opportunities in the blogging industry being affected by what's been going on in the lockdown?
Good question. So I definitely believe it's changed the way people have worked, and obviously some people are still working from home now, and obviously some are still going out. I think they will probably give a choice to workers whether or not if they want to work from home or if they want to go to the office, even with actors as well in the creative industry. They're not really I think they've kind of moved their work onto social media now. So
TikTok is such a huge platform for scenes and stuff like that, I've noticed.
Yeah, and I think The Rock is even on YouTube as well. So I think he has like a tequila business.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So I think that's really working for him now at the moment. So I think he's trying to leverage his audience.
That's right.
And even other actors as well. I think Hollywood might even struggle with how things are going, because it's eventually it's gonna go back to social media. Like they won't focus more on like traditional media or things. So I think things are definitely changing now, for sure. And I don't really see it going back to the way it was in 2019. So yeah, that's what will happen.
Yeah. So what have you read most recently that has helped you with your most recent work? It could either be your blogging or your podcast series.
So I'll probably say I get inspiration from various podcasts that I listen to. So there's two young men in America called The Roommates, and obviously they just create podcasts just to do with self-development and culture and society. And I just listen to some of the episodes that they put out there, and I think it's important to have like different diversity of thoughts when it comes to being a podcaster, because obviously you want to learn from other people, and that's what being a podcaster is about. I think also it's also about collaborating as well. So obviously learning from others, what value can I give to the audience, to give them that leverage on a certain issue. And I know with grief, it is a bit of a difficult topic to talk about, because it's kind of fragile to some people, and obviously some things we talk about, like there was even a recent episode with Afsar about a toxic relationship with her past ex-boyfriend, and there was a bit of a trigger warning, because some people might not feel comfortable with listening to those kind of episodes. So we just let them know that there's a trigger warning coming, so we might say something that you might not feel comfortable. So just be prepared that that we're going to talk about it. So we just let them know, like we give them that awareness to let them know that this is what we're talking about, and this is what happened to A, Y, and Z. So yeah.
For sure, it's really good. Now, being a creative, you must have had a side job to sustain you during these difficult times. So has that also been affected by COVID at all?
So originally I did already have a job in place. So that was April 2019. And obviously I started the podcast started in end of 2019, but I didn't really go into the studio just to record some episodes with Jermaine. I'll probably say COVID did affect my job, because I was on furlough, but it was only for like 3 months, and then I went back into work in June 2020. That's when I went back in, and then obviously 5 months down the line they called another lockdown, so I had to stay again after Christmas for 3 months, and then now I'm back to square one again in March, and that's going back to work again. So I'd probably say it did affect me in a way, because they didn't want me to travel outside of my home because of just the restrictions that were on the underground. So they didn't want me to risk going in there because of COVID.
What podcaster or blogger do you look up to, and why, would you say? Two people that you, at one of the previous questions, would you say they've inspired you, or was there another podcaster?
Yeah, I'll probably say the roommates did inspire me in a way. Like I think it just their content just made me think about what could I bring to the table, as
Mm.
well as Jermaine in the podcast. And obviously we talk about grief, mental health, masculinity, and it's just hearing people and people's different stories about how they've overcame grief, their mental health. It's kind of inspiring to know that they managed to somehow overcome their own demons. And it's just hearing more stories like that. You don't really hear things like that from young people. And that's why we started the podcast, because we thought that there wasn't a market for me and Jermaine to start talking about grief. And I know it's still a bit of a taboo topic in the UK, because I think British people don't know how to deal with grief, or that
No.
it's awkward. And I think America, USA, they do it really, really well. Like they make grief more of a priority, because
Cool.
they're more aware of what they're going through. And
And listening to other people, it just sort of gives you the comfort and just the reassurance that you're not alone and there are
yeah,
others dealing with it. And I guess that sort of gives you the inspiration to tell your story, which is great, you know.
yeah. Like I know it's not an easy thing to just go out there and talk on a podcast about your own personal thing. Because for some, it might not make them feel comfortable. But I
Or
think
sensitivity aspect of it, yeah.
yeah, it's a bit sensitive, and I think you got to listen to it with an open heart.
Yeah.
And because I don't know, I think when it comes to grief, people think that that just because you go through it, it means you're going to heal in a month, but it doesn't really work like that, because I think it's more of a lifetime journey. So
Mm.
it might, I don't know, for some they might heal quicker than other people, but
Yeah,
I think grief takes time, I think.
it does.
And it takes time to heal. And obviously I think I've definitely healed from it now, even though I'm still going through little issues that might creep up on me, but
Mm.
it's just moving forward in life.
It is
And
that
that's the way that I
to move forward as well. You know, that takes a lot, especially if you think back to what you've been through, you know. But it's good that you're seeing things more positively and you're hopeful for the future, and that's brilliant. So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
great.
definitely. Yeah,
And
thank you.
what are your creative plans after the lockdown, which will hopefully be in June?
Hope so. Yeah, I think it will. Yeah. So
Yeah.
my plans, I'm probably gonna write more blogs just to do with this grief and how it led me back to self-improvement, and it led back to other issues that I weren't really facing in my life. And now it's like how do I overcome that grief? And it's more of me making a choice whether or not if I want to move forward in life, or if I want to go backwards, because I think grief also exposes a lot of uh, what I say, family members or friends, or that they weren't really there for you in your difficult time. And
Mm.
I think that's something that I'm beginning to learn now. But I think it's made me realize that I'm not really thinking about what, if they're gonna come or not. It's like, because at the end of the day, I'm the only one that can overcome this. And
That's right. Is there another creative skill you would like to master and why?
oh, all right. Question. Putting all these questions at me. All right, all right. So I like to learn how to make YouTube. That's something I've never really done before, but I think that one takes a bit more time
It does.
and dedication, because it's just building up skills for people, as well as adding value to
Mm.
the audience. Because I think YouTube's a great place to be on if you have a podcast, or if you're trying to broaden your audience. Because I think it's the best social media for organic organic growth, you got to have your why in everything you do. And that's with the podcast as well, because my why is just helping people to navigate through grief, through this wisdom, experiences that I've been through, just to help other people. Because I don't want people to think that this grief is a quick fix.
No,
because it takes a long time. And that's why whenever we have an episode, I think me and Jermaine always say that we're not experts on grief, like we're not grief counselors, we're just learning from other people,
And supporting each other, that's the most important thing, just to support each other.
Because I don't want that kind of like responsibility that, or what that they have an issue that it needs to be fixed now. But I always tell them that I'm not a grief counselor, and I think even as a podcaster as well. So I think being a podcaster is good, but it also comes with challenges as well. And obviously, you can't focus too much on the positive and the negative. So that's why we always keep a straight head, because we don't want the comments to get to our head sometimes, because it does for some people.
It's good to just be balanced as much as you can,
Yeah, because sometimes people's opinions can affect the way you see yourself. So I think that's something that we kind of battle with, and it's a challenge, but we just learn to just navigate, just to be ourselves, and just be authentic, because the audience can tell when you're not authentic about something. So,
you're not genuine. Like, I can see through you. I can see through you.
See right through my soul, what?
Yeah. Cool. And the last question, tell us your top 3 songs on Spotify at the moment.
Oh, good one. That's a good question again. Be Honest by Jordan Smith and Burna Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Burna Boy fan.
He's good.
And what else? J. Cole, Saint Tropez.
Oh, I've not heard that one.
Oh, so that's on Forest Hill Drive.
No, I don't know that one. Yeah.
Don't know? Oh, okay.
Sounds interesting though, yeah.
Because he creates like hip hop songs, so usually that's his kind of genre. Yeah. And third one, I'm just thinking, you just put me on the spot there. It's Kanye West.
Yeah.
Kanye West probably closed on Sundays.
Nice. Yeah, I like Kanye West. Yeah, he's cool.
What do you like about him? Joking.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Ben. It's been great talking to you. Very insightful. And I wish you all the best with your blog, your podcast. Before we wrap up, would you like to share your socials?
Oh, sure. That'll be great. So my Instagram is Ben Aqua _.
You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find Thinking Out Loud as well.
Oh, all right. So that will be on Instagram as well. So Thinking Out Loud Pod _ as well. And we have a YouTube channel as well. So that's just called Thinking Out Loud.
Subscribe, guys. I'm watching you.
Yeah, so we post regularly on YouTube. And we only started posting YouTube in January, so we're just moving on into YouTube as well. And you can also find us on Spotify and Apple and Amazon Music.
Lovely. Oh, great stuff. Well, thanks again, Ben. I hope you've enjoyed the interview. I really did.
Great.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. And I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I hope you've learned something insightful about Ben and his work. Join me next time when I will be interviewing another creative in lockdown. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye-bye.